Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Scent Remix. So today we are going to be talking about 8 and Bob, a house that has such a rich history, and it's one that I've been particularly intrigued with since I came across them recently. I was able to finally get a discovery set. I've been able to spend some time with each of the fragrances in the collection. So if you have been curious about this house and would like to know more, stick around. I'm going to give you my thoughts and impressions. So for this story, we're going to go back to the early 20th century. French aristocrat Albert Fouquet had a chance encounter with a very young John F. Kennedy in 1937 on the French Riviera. Now, Fouquet, who dabbled in perfumery, was wearing a fragrance that apparently JFK became very enamored with. And before he left to go back to the States, he obtained a sample of it. Upon getting home, he shared the sample with family and friends and pretty soon found himself writing to Fouquet to request more samples. In fact, he requested 8, and as the story goes, if inventory allows, 1 for Bob. So that's where the name comes from, 8 and Bob. So that's pretty cool. Now, of course, the story doesn't end there. Pretty soon, Fouquet, along with the butler, Philippe, found themselves fulfilling orders for the likes of Cary Grant, Jimmy Stewart, and a lot of the American Hollywood elite. Now, tragically, in 1939, Fouquet died in a car accident, but Philippe, again the butler, he was able to carry on with the business up until World War II, where he found it necessary to, at that point, protect everything that they had built from the Nazis. And one of the ways that he did that was he hid the bottles in hollowed out books. So very ingenious. That way he was able to protect the brand, he was able to protect the formula. Now, not too much is known about Philippe after the end of the war, so we're going to have to fast forward to 2012 at this point. So yes, the brand was resurrected in 2012. And since then, they have done such a great job at making sure that the history of the brand is preserved. And it can be seen in the marketing. Like, for instance, with the boxes. The boxes are made to resemble books that the bottles rest inside of. Of course, a nod to the ingenious way that Philippe was able to preserve the brand through the war. And then little detailing like the stripes, making reference to the shirt that JFK was wearing when he and Fouquet first met in 1937. So let's talk about the collection. You have, of course, the original from 1937 that was brought back in 2012. Now, in addition to that one, you have several others, including D Antibes, Champ de Provence, Egypt, Memoires de Mustique, and Nuit de Megeve. So a logical place to start with the sampling would be the OG, the original. I've already sprayed the test strips, and so I've been able to experience the opening for each of the 6. And now I'm gonna check out more of the drawdown. So the original is considered an aromatic, and definitely you get a lot of amber vanilla. Just gives it this very creamy, sweet quality. But at the same time, there's some underlying spices there as well. I think cardamom, nutmeg were listed in the notes. And then there's supposed to be this very rare plant from Chile that Fouquet used as an ingredient in this too. I don't know too much about it. I think he called it Andrea. but it has to be distilled in a particular way, and so there's only so much of it that they can obtain at any particular time. So it does affect production of this particular scent. But yeah, this doesn't strike me as being the type of fragrance that a French perfumer would be known for necessarily. But at the same time, it is a very classy, very sophisticated, confident scent. I could see someone wearing this that exudes a lot of confidence, or at least has a persona for being confident. So I immediately think of Cary Grant. I think he was that type of person. He created this character for himself, this persona that he had to live up to, that required him to be confident. That's what people expected to see from him. Confident, sophisticated, just always put together. So I don't know if he was very happy in his private life because of that, trying to live up to that persona. But anyway, I could really see him wearing this scent though, because it exudes class, confidence, and there is indeed an air of exclusivity to it as well. I could see why people would have clamored to own this because of the fact they felt like no one else had it or no one had really heard of it up until that point. So an easy one to fall in love with, really. I could see myself definitely getting a full bottle of that one. All right, so this is Cap D Antibes. And this is also considered an aromatic. It's very green, woodsy, with some mint. I think some of the other notes were violet leaf. They had definitely some woods in there, like birch, cedar, and it even has some cinnamon in there as well. So I mean, there is a slight spicy quality to it that, I don't know, it could be the cinnamon, I'm not sure. But right away I get this distinct impression of maybe Dior Fahrenheit, but just taken in a greener direction with that splash of mint to add this nice breath of clean, fresh air. So even though it does give me that impression to start with, it is different enough where it can definitely stand on its own. And it's a nice scent on its own merits. This would be an amazing spring and summer scent. I like this. So moving on to the next, this is going to be Champ de Provence. Say that 10 times fast. It's a mouthful. So I was fully expecting this one to be a green, woodsy type scent because of the green bottle. But it is definitely a floral. And wow, the jasmine in this, it's definitely right there front and center. It's pretty amazing. There's just a little bit of citrus, and there's also supposed to be pear, rose, mate tea in this. Wow. So I'm not usually fond of overly floral scents, but I tell you can't beat this orange tinged jasmine. I mean, I love jasmine. I love the smell of it. So this one might be just a little bit more feminine than the others that I've tried so far, but I would definitely wear it. It'd be an awesome spring, summer scent. All right, so next up is Egypt. Very nice. This is what I would consider an oriental, woody, spicy scent. Right off, it reminds me a little bit, and I hate to make comparisons, but I feel like maybe if you've smelled this particular scent, you kind of know what I'm smelling here. But it reminds me a little bit of Versace Oud Noir. It gives me the same kind of feels that one gives me, because I love Oud Noir. This has a more predominant lavender note in it that makes it somewhat different. I believe the notes listed like nutmeg, cardamom, so a lot of spice, patchouli, leather, but no oud. This is like a really nice high-end aftershave. I could see like splashing some of this on after a fresh shave. Be very nice for like your cooler weather. Definitely fall, winter, maybe early spring. Very nice. I like that. All right, so let's try Memoires de Mustique. Neroli. Love it. So this one is considered a floral musk, and of course you would assume musk by the name, but it's actually making reference to an island in the West Indies. But this is beautiful. It's got a little bit of jasmine again in this one. I think there was also supposed to be petitgrain, some citruses, and of course the musk. It's a white musk, so it's going to be slightly softer, the way that I like a musky fragrance. I like it. It's very nice, very nice. Full bottle worthy, this one here. And lastly, we come to Nuit de Megeve, my tobacco scent, finally. Tobacco and vetiver. What a stupendous combo. So this one has tonka. It's got some coffee in it that gives it this underlying kind of roasted quality. You know, there's something about this that reminds me of when we visited Nantucket. I don't know why. We went there in the early 90s. And I remember there was this coffee shop there that we went into. And the reason I remember it so distinctly was because it was the first time that I heard the group Innocence Mission. They were playing their album that had just released, Umbrella. I had never heard of them, but I really liked them, so I asked the girl behind the counter who they were. So something that I was smelling, something had some kind of effect on me that this scent here is drawing up this memory. Maybe it was just a combo of the coffee smell. Maybe there was a tobacco shop in the vicinity. I don't know. But it's weird how you can have such distinct memories come up from smelling a scent. But I love this one. I can't help it, but I mean, this one would have to be my favorite out of the 6, just because I love that tobacco vetiver. It's so nice. So impressions of 8 and Bob. What are my overall impressions? Well, I really enjoyed sampling this house. I think all 6 of the fragrances were amazing. There were, of course, some standouts, 3 in particular. I would have to say the original. I really like that one just because it is such a classic scent. I feel like it is unisex. It is very versatile. I think it's one that probably every man should have in his collection, but again, that's not ruling out females either. I think that, they could very well pull it off too. So that would be my number 3. Number 2 would be Memoires de Mustique, because of the fact that I loved that Neroli. Just a great one. I definitely want to pick up a bottle for that of that for spring and summer. And then my number 1 pick would have to be Nuit de Megeve. Just that tobacco vetiver, it floored me. The fact that it brought back that very distinct memory, I feel like that I really have to get a full bottle of that. So those would be my top three. Again, I would love to have all 6 of them. I think that they would just like really, serve to complete my collection. But yeah, I think I would start out with those 3. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this video today. I hope that you have found it informative. That is really what I'm trying to do with these, because as I'm learning, I want to take you along for the journey as well. I want to be looking at interesting fragrances, just doing reviews that pass on knowledge. I'm just not about doing lists or trying to put out content constantly. I think probably I'm going to stick to doing maybe 1 video a week, because I do want to keep the content at a certain level, at a certain standard. I feel like if you try to put out too much, then the quality does suffer quite a bit. You kind of run out of things to talk about. You become very repetitive, and it just doesn't come off very good. Myself, I like looking at videos, listening to reviewers that you can tell are very knowledgeable. They have a passion for what they're doing. That's what's important to me, and I hope that comes across in my videos as well. I hope that's the impression that you're getting. But yeah, I appreciate the support as always. Again, I'm still a very small channel, so I appreciate any support that I can get. Please tell your friends about the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the notifications icon so that you will be informed every time that I upload a new video. And that's about it for this one. Until the next time, see ya.